All right, all right, excellent. Welcome to another impactful episode number 43 with Shruti Deshpande. Hi, Shruti, how are you doing?
Hi Amit, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for your time to come on to my show to share your story.
It's my
Great.
privilege. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks once again. All right. So, you know, when you're at when you're a young child, right, and you're studying, you often, like if you're a student like me who was a big duffer sometimes, it becomes a very hard, how to move on. And if you miss out on some subjects or an entire class, then life becomes quite challenging. Few of the reasons being that your friends are little departed, and this is exactly what happened with my award winning architect Shruti Deshpande, who is actually a true icon for women empowerment. She's a girl who has lost herself in the battles of life, and she couldn't figure out her own path. She didn't know what to do. She actually failed in a class and she lost a lot of her friends. It happened to that extent that few of her friends stopped calling her for even birthdays, and she couldn't understand at that time what's exactly is happening. And the trooper she is, she learned that this is the hard part of the life. She is thankful to the God for realizing that. And she also realized that life isn't that easy. It's not a cakewalk. She built her confidence in herself, and she moved on to become a successful architect, an award winning architect who's well known not only in her area but also across India. And now she is actually embarking herself onto the global community. With that, and I'm so excited because she's also my dear friend. So I'm so excited to bring her onto my show. Shruti, welcome once again.
Thank you, Amit, for such an amazing introduction. Thank you.
You're all worth it, my friend. All right, so Shruti, let me start off by asking, what exactly happened during your school days? What was that situation? Let's go back. I know I'm going to dig in a little of graves from your brains, but I still want to understand what was that thing that happened because of what you lost, your probably the class, and how was your feeling?
Okay, so I want to say this. Till that school time, till 10th, I was such a outgoing child. Like I was totally extrovert into sports, into like studies. Also, like I got all rounder sheet in my 10th standard. That was totally unexpected. And when I went to college, so my 11th and 12th, that typical college vibes everywhere. You get new friends and everything. And but along that, my studies were very good. I was very good in studies and also in extracurricular activities. So the 12th, as we have boards here, so we had 12 board exam, and the results came of the board exam. The vacations went so well that okay, we are going into now graduation. I'll be pursuing my architecture and everything. And the results came, and my name was not in the list. So that was such a like shocking moment for me. Like everybody in my friends group, like they were supposedly someone was topping some subject. My sister herself was passed with flying colors. I have a twin sister, by the way. And suddenly my name was not on the list. So we thought for a second, okay, there might be some problem, technical problem, in that particular list, and it will be there eventually. So I was not that worried. But after one day, 2 day, nothing came up, and then we realized that I had failed in a subject of maths. And that was actually very shocking because I was very good in maths. I used to score literally out of marks in the class. And I remember like I took supplements also for that particular subject. I remember those small moments, because I used to recall that thing every now and then, at that point of time. Ki, what happened with me that time? Something happened or what? And to sum it up, like, this was a very shocking thing for me and my family, because I was kind of a merit child in 10th. Everybody was expecting this, and suddenly 12th dropped. So this made a huge impact on my family also. And I remember we used to sleep. My mother and father used to, make me sleep with them, so that they used to feel ki she would do something to herself or what, because of this failure. So it was totally shocking for me at that particular time.
Wow. And I can imagine, yeah, a married child, when a married child fails, and I can just imagine that image where they are so now protective so that you don't take any disastrous step in their head, right? Before I move on, I've just got a couple of lovely comments just at the start, so I'll just share. Ayush Podar says, "Awesome, thank you, Ayush." And Vishal Singh says, "This is a great life." Of course. Thank you for all the comments and all the viewers who are watching. So now moving on. So you know, I understand that you went through, those were difficult times. So tell me, how was the behavior of your friends and other friends, and specifically not just the college friends? This word might have spread right across, right? How those things, and I know, and I didn't say this during the start, but I know that it was a technical error that came out to be found later. But I just wanted to know that during the time that you got the result, and during the time people realized that it was a technical error, what was that duration and how long was that duration?
Oh, that was really a tough duration for me. As my parents were also a little bit, my dad, my mom were confident that this cannot happen to me, because I am a bright student. But, people started talking something, and, then they had some doubt that something, like, she must have been not studying it like properly. That's why she failed in maths, and that confidence on me was somewhere, diminishing. And if I can tell you, for my friends, so-called friends, at that time we had a group of 10 to 12 people in my group in the college. And they suddenly, like, after the results and everything came up, and they had called, and they got to know maybe from somewhere that, I was not in the list and everything. And suddenly they stopped talking to me. Like, there was a time when I needed that friends more, because I was totally feeling alone. I had a twin sister, and she too was going ahead. That feeling of like a twin sister, like, everything we were doing together, going to school together, going to college together. And suddenly she is now 1 year ahead of me, and I'm, there. She never made me realize, because she was okay, she was very very supportive to me. And but that feeling that, nobody is there with me now, I am all alone. My friends are not calling me every time, during the birthday parties or wherever we used to hang out. They used to call me and my sister, and they stopped talking to me and my sister as well. Not only me, to her also, because of this. And they didn't call us, or, nothing from their side, like, totally disconnected from us. And that made me feel very pathetic. Like, why is this happening? Like, that was, the failure was not affecting me that much, but the behavior of the people around me, my friends and the relatives, that was affecting me much, I would say.
I can only imagine. I mean, so there is no friend in need who came in for your help, in that sense. And it's very bad if you think about it, because, that's the time you need people around. And, with the age that you were in, friends would be the best, people who can assist. And I can only imagine this about the twin sister and how she would have moved forward, because Uh, First of all, you got the news, then your friends aren't with you, and second, you see that your own twin sister is now a step ahead. It would have been really tough, and I can just imagine that. What were the thoughts going on in your head? Did you thought of anything extreme?
Frankly telling, Amit, I was very calm. I was very calm. I was very, like, I felt, what has happened? Nothing has happened. Like, why, uh, why the hell people are, doing so much, behaving so much weird with me. And I was so confident in myself that this cannot happen with me. And that's why I was very calm, very patient. If at all I knew inside me that okay, it's my fault, I didn't study, so I might have got a little bit worried or angry or anything of that sort, but that didn't impact me at all. But my family did. So they thought that okay, let her reappear the exam. We also had this thing that let's take this up in the court and let's do all this. But then again, my year would have been again the same, like it would have been back again. So I thought to reappear the exam, and exactly I went to the same tuition where I used to study. And that sir told my parents that why is she reappearing, she's very good in maths, like. So my mom dad said, no, let her reappear, we want to see, and my mom used to sit in the class, I remember, and I was the only one to whom the sir used to teach. And I used to solve the maths problem first than him. I used to be ready with the solutions first, and then he used to finish that. And then he said, okay, she doesn't need me, like why you are bringing her here? And then my parents actually realized, no, there is not a problem with her, there is something which is in the background which we don't know. And this way we found out that my supplements were taken off, like someone deliberately did it. And yeah, so that was a totally different case. During my time it was personal, uh, you can say rivalry or something like that, and did that with me. And then um, this was a result. But I
Oh my
reappeared
God.
and I came up with flying colors, like.
Oh my God, that's like a film story, isn't it? I mean, someone has a personal vengeance on you, vendetta, and they're like trying to remove it, and supplements are gone. And it's, you know what the best part is, and I want every viewer to understand this, is that if you're confident on yourself, that's what Shruti is trying to put it. She was very confident on herself and she was calm. Okay, she did that. That's the reason I asked this, is because there are many viewers who watch it and they would have children now. Okay, and it's a different times now. So if you have to trust and believe in your child. And to that I have one comment here from Smita. She says, I felt the same when my friends stopped talking me in spite of having success. I can imagine, Smita. Thanks. But that's really quite interesting because and the reason I have the smile in my face is because it's like that film thing, right? People are actually tearing off your supplements. So at the end, it was clear that it was a technical error. We can term it as technical error, though it could be different error. So then what happened? Share what happened after that. So was it announced
Yeah.
first of all, or was it made clear that it was technical error or something?
No, because it was very personal, like we found out this everything after 6 or 7 months or so. Until that time, I reappeared because I didn't wanted to waste my time at all in all these things. So I kept myself occupied. I did my interior design diploma after the result. Like I didn't wait for even for a few days. I reappeared. I started with my journey towards interiors, and I wanted to be an architect. That was for sure. So I started with that journey. Next year, probably 1 year, I didn't took any gap. So that 1 year I utilized and I did my interior design course. And immediately I took admission in architecture. So the very funny thing which happened, like I may say funny, or I don't know what, I was blessed. There was a rule that the person who is, failed in 12th cannot have a seat in architecture. Like, that person should clear the 12th exam in first attempt. And to my surprise, during that year at which I took the admission in that college, that rule changed. That okay, second time appear also can take admission. That was luck. I
Yes.
feel I am blessed. I feel I'm blessed, rather, because I had this situation in my life where I had to be only in this field of architecture, nothing else. And this led me, even after so many hurdles, I was there. Like God changed his plan for me. It was like that. It was
Awesome.
amazing.
Awesome. Awesome. I believe personally in a tagline, whatever happens, happens for good. And that's exactly well placed for you. And look at it. I would say that you were destined to be an architect. Okay. And it was just placed in such a way, like you said, God just placed the pieces in such a way that, the rules changed all of a sudden. Everything just because of some technical issues you didn't got through, because of which you actually spent your 1 year in diploma. You got that in place, and then when you had to come back again, God even removed that rule for you, and now you're an award-winning architect. Awesome. Awesome. That's really interesting.
And actually, I must say, Amit, that 1 year which I did my interior design diploma, that added me more value when I was a fresher as an architect, in that college. So my HOD, the head of the department, knew that I already did interior design and everything. He knew about my failures also. But he was so proud and confident on me that he said, like, okay, you will be able to do it. You are the person who will never give up. And he showed confidence in me, and that was the beginning of my journey.
Awesome. Awesome. That's really nice. You teachers and gurus are always there to assist, and I'm glad that you found one there. Good. So now let's move a little forward. Okay. Let's just come back to date in a way. So I understand that you're vastu specialist in interior. Okay, help me understand that. How does it work? First of all, help me. I know what vastu is. For me, vastu is basically placing certain things, but that's all my knowledge is. But help me and my viewers understand that what exactly it is and how it fits with what you do.
Okay, so first of all, when I came into this field of architecture, okay, we had a very short, uh, I think, one lecture of Vastu Shastra in our course. And that time it clicked me, okay, this is really something amazing. And but then I left it there and there only, because it was not carried in the syllabus further. So after the 5 years, when I came into the practice, I started my own firm. I realized, there were many clashes between architects and the clients regarding this Vastu Shastra thing, because they used to call some Vastu Pandits experts on the site, and we used to design it with our whole heart, put everything, blood and sweat in that thing. And they used to suddenly come on site and say, okay, this, change that, we don't want wall here. And it's not that easy, when you spend lot of hours in creating something beautiful and somebody just come in and change everything. It's really painful situation for an architect or any designer. So these architects used to always hate Vastu Shastra. I must say, they used to hate this. Like, they used to abuse. Like, what is this? It's a bullshit and everything. And I used to always feel, why are they saying so? Let me dig into this topic at least. We should not pass any judgment before you have that knowledge. So when I started my practice, I actually dig into this subject more and more. And passing years, I gained more knowledge, and I found out that it is nothing but actually it's a very deep science. It's a science of architecture only, and the architects don't know about it, because they never went through that. They only tried to hear what people were saying around them, what other seniors were saying about it, and took that and just had opinion about it. But then I realized this science is a very deep science and very well articulated, and we should, all the professionals should learn it. Okay, so this journey started, and then I began to actually teach this to the professionals themselves. Because if professionals are well versed with vastu shastra and the terms and what is going on in the market, they can well handle the clients, you know. So from here my journey started.
Wow, that's really. I agree with you on one fact. Now, when I think, when you say, because when I got my apartment, for example, everyone was like, Amit, north direction mein ye hona chahiye and all that. And now I imagine how many apartments I rejected because of certain direction. And when you said that architects do not think in that way, it's also a big loss in a way, right? Because there are a lot of people who believe in this. And it's just that, for common people like me, it's just certain things. But now when you come from, you're like blending two of the major things in one place. So now I can imagine the whole area built on that, so no one has any problem. This is perfect. So what do you do now? So basically you said that you help, right? So how do you do that?
So here is the thing. First of all, there was no awareness among these professionals that this is a very deep subject and we should all learn it and also practice it. Because if we don't practice it, the things would be like, the practice would go on like a traditional way, always clash between clients and designers. And I didn't wanted that. So I actually started this very organically by putting this in all my professional groups, my friends who are there in this profession, that see, I am actually doing this course called as Scientific Vastu Shastra and decode the science behind Vastu Shastra. Because in order to know what Vastu Shastra is, it's a term given by the, you can say, the religious gurus and all, but it is not at all religion based. It was just a term called as Vastu Shastra, and people attached it to religion. But in order to know it, one should know the science and logic behind it, right? So that's why I started this course called as Scientific Vastu Shastra for all the professionals in the industry of the construction industry to know what it is and decode that science. So today we need everything logical, right? We cannot accept the fact कि ऐसे ही है. We need logic behind everything. So I, as a professional, also believe that everything has a logic behind it, and that should be put in that way so that the professionals would also understand that it is not any myth or superstition. It's a science, it's a pure science. And that's what I'm teaching to all the professionals now.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's really interesting. And I've just put the word there, scientific vastu shastra. It's gonna be there now for everyone who joins in and who can at least understand what Shruti is doing. So Shruti, let me ask you this. So now I want to just first check that about your award. So what exactly that award is, and on what grounds you got it. If you can share that with us, please, because I can also see the award at the back of your screen behind you.
Yeah, so I received 4 awards last year, and all were related to my work. Probably that was for budgeted residential architectural and interior design. So I believe in that not everybody can afford everything to do in lakhs and crores, because middle class or even higher middle class people, it's not necessary you spend lakhs of rupees into something, and then only it would look lavish and everything. So in my every project I try how we can cost cut the budget of our clients and give them a premium feel, both hands in hands, like win-win situation for them. So this was acknowledged by many of the magazines, many of the architects also. And that one award which was given to me was by architect Premnath, who is a very senior architect, and I was among the first 20 uh, in that people for that year. And he recognized that I am in this field now for 10 years, and I'm just not only designing, but designing in a such a way that people even middle class people would not feel that they are middle class just because they can't spend enough money, crores of rupees in their interiors and on their houses. So giving that feel to them that they are also rich, they can also feel lavish, in that their own budget. That was my outlook towards my each client, and I think that made me win an award. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's really nice. That's really nice. When people recognize, and also the thought that you carry behind the work, because that's very important. It's not just about having certain things out. It's about whether if it's an affordability, and also if it's cost effective for everyone. So that's really good, and yeah, definitely you deserve that award
So
as
to
well.
add to it,
Hmm.
scientific Vastu Shastra is also collaborated in these designs, because this science of Vastu Shastra goes from micro planning, like from furniture also, how to place a furniture, how the furniture should be. So we also take care of all these small things while designing a bungalow, a multi-storied apartment, or a small house. So these principles we apply everywhere, and that's where we are getting recognition more, because there is no change in the design and nothing, and the client is satisfied 100%. So this is
Wow,
where science
that's
of Vastu
interesting.
Shastra comes in. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Now, tell me, what sort of people should connect with you for, and what sort of help? So, why I'm asking this is that, is it that anybody who would like to do certain interior designing can connect with you? Of course, I know you have large projects as well. So, what sort of people can connect with you?
See, if I may say so, any professional who is associated in construction industry, architects, interior designers, they can be also, I would say, already practicing Vastu Shastra experts can join me, because see, this is a field where they would explore the science behind it. They would not only learn what is Vastu Shastra, but why is it so? Why is it called so? Why it has so importance? Everything. So any person who is related to construction industry, who is a Vastu expert, who is in numerology, this kind of fields, who want to upskill them, and mark them uh, like a different, altogether a different brand in the market, because after all there is lot of competition going on, and you should also be away from the crowd. You should do something, take a different path altogether and be away from the crowd if you want to stand out. So I feel that this is one really good field where people can explore, they can learn, and also they can create a global mark, because Vastu Shastra is actually uh, used in many parts of the world globally. So very huge opportunity for all those people to work.
Awesome, awesome. Before I ask you last question, I just want to ask one follow-up question on this. So I also learned that there is a global presence that you're getting into, right? Would you like to share that?
Yeah, so the thing is, recently I connected with many of the architects of different continents. Okay, and we had this connection of different continents to know what kind of work is going on in every, different continents of the world, different countries, what sort of what they perceive architecture as, what they perceive Vastu Shastra as there. So, like in China, we know it's Feng Shui, right? So, there are different parts of the world where Vastu Shastra is perceived in a different way. So, I wanted to know, okay, what in different parts of the world it is known as and how it is followed. So, we recently formed a community of many architects, 50 plus architects from all over the globe, and we are now, making this community as a global community where we would know how the architecture is being practiced everywhere. Sitting here in one place, I can know how it is practiced, so that if anybody is interested to work anywhere, that person can work. And also we are being doing the projects outside, like UK. We have taken up the projects UK, UAE, so that at least we would have people who would connect to us, and we would have some case studies to show up that, see, this is working globally too. So that's the thing.
Awesome. Awesome. That's fantastic. That's really good. And I'm very impressed. And I wish you all the luck for that.
Thank you.
Uh, Great, great. So now we are almost at the tail end of our show, and this is my common question to all my guests: is that do you feel that stories actually impact?
Yeah, actually, stories impact a lot, because not everybody is, so well in communication, and speaking their heart out in any manner. Somebody, can write. Somebody are really introverts who cannot put up their thoughts up front, but these stories can help them, tell those feelings or thoughts, emotions inside them in that particular manner and effectively, I feel. So as I told, that why I said initially the story of failure, because that particular failure was the first failure of my life. And after that failure, I knew that how to handle failures, because that was not the end of the failure in my life, that was the beginning, actually. And after that one failure, there were so many failures in my life, small failures. There were so big failures also, in professional, personal, everywhere, but I knew how to again stand up against that failure. So that one failure, first failure of your life, teaches you many things. So that story of your one failure matters a lot, and you should always remember that story, what made you fail. And I feel that's why stories are really impactful, and what you are doing is really amazing, Amit, because you are taking out that emotions out of person's heart, which normally they can't speak enough, in a form of a story, recalling back their initial days and what they went through. So it's really amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And you're absolutely true that, your first failure, and there will be more failures, but there is always loads and loads of learning. And you're an epitome of this example from, where you, I mean, what happened to you and where you are now, not only doing the good thought process work, but also now get going globally and probably impacting millions, soon billions of people.
And Amit, the hardest part is to convince your parents. So how did I convince my parents? It was not my fault. Was I stood university? I was university topper for almost 5 years of my entire 5 year degree course. So, and that I thoughtfully did because I wanted to prove my parents that no, see, it's not my fault. And when year after year I was being a university topper, they realized, yeah, our daughter is, yeah, it was not her fault. It was like, really a problem. And then, but that was for me to regain my confidence, that was necessary. So I did that, and I think I achieved that, and I'll continue to do so whenever I fail.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, no, that's something, I can just imagine that because yeah, I mean, and but I'm very sure your parents are very proud now, right? Where you are, what you're doing, and you're impacting so many people, and people are, constantly appreciating you, getting awards. I'm sure they would be very, very happy.
Yeah, now they at least
Yeah.
notice what I'm doing. Like I'm doing something, something out of the box. They feel that.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Great. Fantastic, Shruti. Thank you very much. And for all the lovely audience and who's listening to me live now and who might listen to the recording, Shruti has put two things. So she has her own website and she also has the link here. I'm just putting it here for everyone's reference as well. Connect with her, understand how we all know that Vastu is very important, but how Vastu can go to the base layer when the architectures are actually designing things, this would be really, really interesting. So if you want to know that, or if you feel that your friends, colleagues, or anybody who are into the same industry, same line as Shruti is, architecture, or in the Vastu area, share the links with them. The whole idea is that, how we can connect, how we collaborate with each other. It doesn't matter what part of the country you are in, or what part of the world you're in. The whole idea is to collaborate and make the world a better place, right? And if we can do that even with one story at a time, it's fantastic. So please do that. Please connect with Shruti. And if you want to come to my show and impact the world like how Shruti is doing, please ping me. My details, you all know it. So until then, Shruti, once again, thank you very much for your time and
Thanks a
your
lot,
lovely
Amit.
story.
Thanks a lot, Amit, for
Yeah.
taking out the story from me, you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for rest of the them, have a lovely Sunday noon or evening. Bye bye.